And the weeks that followed, the village buzzed with news of the scandal. Lindiwe became the subject of countless whispers. Some admired her bravery, while others saw her as a traitor. Her reputation was tarnished, and the weight of shame seemed to follow her wherever she went. The elders, who had once spoken of honor and integrity with such reverence, now watched her with eyes that seemed both critical and compassionate. "She has spoken the truth," one elder muttered during a village gathering. But the price of truth is often higher than one can imagine. Lindiwe felt every word, every glance, but she refused to let it break her. With the support of her family, she transferred to a new school, Riverbend High, a place where no one knew her story. She carried her burden with quiet dignity, working tirelessly to rebuild her life. In Riverbend High, she found something she hadn't expected: kindness. Her new classmates were eager to help, and the teachers had believed in her potential. With fresh resolve, Lindiwe threw herself into her studies once more. The numbers, once her enemies, became less of a burden as she dedicated herself to her work. Her grades improved, slowly but surely. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't fast, but Lindiwe learned that there was no shame in struggle, only in giving up. One evening, as Lindiwe sat beneath the baobab tree once again, her heart was light. She had passed her math exams with flying colors, earning the respect of her new teachers and classmates. Her parents were proud, though they had learned a valuable lesson themselves. The true path to success, they now understood, was one that required both hard work and integrity. "I have learned that the greatest lesson in life," Lindiwe reflected aloud, "is that truth, no matter how heavy, always sets you free. Even the baobab tree, which stands tall and firm in the face of storms, must sometimes bend in the wind to survive." Her father, who had watched her grow through so many trials, nodded slowly. "The baobab does not bend out of weakness, but out of wisdom. You have learned this well, my daughter." Lindiwe smiled, feeling the strength of the tree's roots beneath her feet, and knew that she was now grounded in something far stronger than any grade could ever measure: truth, honor, and the wisdom of knowing who she was. Word travels faster than the wind in the village of Zuberi. If a chicken sneezes on the east end, someone on the west end is already boiling herbs before the feathers settle. So when Lindiwe left Sunrise Academy under mysterious circumstances, the village gossips gathered like vultures around a fresh story. Auntie Misozi, the self-declared minister of unsolicited news, perched on her favorite stool outside the market, fanning herself dramatically. And that girl with the pretty eyes and long legs? She must have used jazz. I swear. How can someone just wake up and fail math, then suddenly start passing like breeze through torn mosquito net? Harbor. Old Mama Canned, whose ears were sharper than a goat sensing rainfall, leaned in. "You people don't know anything. My cousin's neighbor's niece said the teacher was the one helping her pass." "Helping? You hear me?" The younger women giggled, while the older ones shook their heads like disgruntled yam sellers. But despite all the talk, none of them truly knew what Lindiwe had endured. Meanwhile, Lindiwe, in her new school uniform at Riverbend High, was finding her groove. She had joined a study group led by a boy named Tunde, an eccentric genius who wore mismatched socks and talked to his calculator like it was his best friend. "You see, mathematics is like a mala," Tunde would say, slapping his palm into his fist. "It looks messy, but when you understand it, it goes down smooth." Lindiwe burst into laughter. For the first time in a long while, the joy in her chest wasn't weighed down by fear or shame. She felt lighter. She was learning that laughter too, like wisdom, was a medicine, especially when mixed with healing and truth. And in a village full of loud mouths and long stories, sometimes laughter could drown out even the loudest gossip. At Riverbend High, life had found a new rhythm. The classes were challenging but fair, and the teachers didn't give compliments that curled like smoke and left you coughing in confusion. No, here the teachers gave red pen corrections that danced all over your paper like a masquerade in a festival. Lindiwe's first test came back looking like a sacrificial offering. Red everywhere. Her eyes widened. "Is this a correction or a declaration of war?" she muttered. Tunde leaned over and snorted. "That red pen has no mercy. Mrs. Bale will mark like she's avenging her ancestors." They both laughed, and Lindiwe sighed. At least this failure was honest, earned with her own effort and confusion. It wasn't borrowed or bought, it was hers, and that, oddly enough, gave her comfort. That evening, during village study time under the mango tree, Elder Babu passed by with his walking stick, which had seen more battles than a warrior's spear. He stopped when he saw Lindiwe's test paper. "Ah, young blood," he chuckled, eyeing the red marks. "I see the pen has danced well on your scroll." "Yes, Baba," Lindiwe said, laughing, "but at least it danced truthfully." Babu nodded slowly, then added with a mischievous smile, "You know, back in my day, we didn't have pens. We used charcoal and stubbornness." Everyone laughed. The old man pointed at her. "Don't be discouraged. A pot that boils over teaches a cook to watch the fire. Keep boiling." So Lindiwe studied harder. She asked questions. She made mistakes. But she also made progress. The red pen still danced, but it was no longer wild masquerade.